Hello, Sagittarius. It is time for your June reading. We're going to start out with an oracle card to see what kind of energy you'll be working with here in the month of June. You have the Alchemist, transformative energy, or converting or transmuting something from one thing to another. Why am I feeling that energy the most? It's like you're going to take a bad situation and turn it into a good situation. Or take the circumstances where things seem like they're going tough or wrong or the wrong direction. Could be a change in attitude about it that helps, but it's not transition, it's transformation. The keywords are balance, invention, and destruction. I feel the word evolve too. Yeah, it's almost like you're taking something that has not been working and converting it to a different purpose, maybe. It's like changing a room from a bedroom to an office, or from an office to a bedroom, or a craft room, or, oh, what are we doing here? What are you doing, Sag? Yeah, you're reconfiguring something that isn't working in its current state, and reconfiguring it into something that does work for you, or that you can work with. Am I not going to get anything more out of that? I feel like the feather is significant in here. Hmm. Okay, so let's go down that tangent. So the feather, what I'm visualizing in my head, or maybe this is going to be a metaphor for you. When you're quilting, so the craft of quilting, and you've made the quilt sandwich, and you're getting ready to quilt all of the layers of the quilt together. A lot of times, quilters will use a feather stitch or a feather pattern. Now, everybody can make it differently. And nobody is really going to notice the mistakes or the imperfections when the entire thing is seen. But if you're focused in one little area, in one little spot, you may see those imperfections. You may see where the quilter went and maybe made a mistake in the pattern or had to go over it twice. You will see that not every feather looks the same. But when you take a step back and you look at the entire quilt, you do not see those little minute mistakes. What you see is a beautifully quilted end product. Something that very tactilely feels good to the touch, to the feel of it, and is pleasing to the eye. So I guess what this is saying is you're going to transform maybe the focus from being so down in the weeds and into the details that you can't see the big picture because you're so focused on the little tiny mistakes that you're making along the way that you're not seeing the big success that you're having overall. So this may be about changing your viewpoint and realizing that all of those little tiny intricate details that you've been so focused on are not something that's really visible in the big picture, are not as big as they seem when you're in a close-up view. So I think you're being asked to take a step back from something so that you can transform how you're viewing it and take pride in the work that you're doing so you can see how much you've accomplished and how beautiful that is. All right. I always like it when they take me off on a bit of a tangent. Hopefully that's meaningful to at least a few of you. Let's look at your tarot cards. We have the Emperor, the Chariot, the Seven of Pentacles, the Sun, and the Six of Swords. So this is going to be a game changer for you. You have 3 major arcana cards here, which indicate some major change or shift in how you view things. Or that whatever this changes that you're making has bigger impacts on your life. I'm taking a moment to look, just a moment. Yeah. You have choices to make, options available. Don't get into the weeds. Look at the big picture, the overall picture. What would this change mean to you? Is it some tiny little detail like changing from, okay, whatever, from plastic forks to metal forks? I don't know why that's coming up, but there we go. What is the bigger impact of that for you? Yes, you'll have to wash the metal forks as opposed to throwing out the plastic forks. But long term, the bigger picture, the metal forks will save you money because you won't have to keep buying the plastic forks. I don't know why these weird metaphors are coming up for you today, but here we are. Okay, well, let's get into the individual cards. We're starting out with the Emperor. This is fire. Well, it's Aries energy, but I also think of it as fire energy because Aries is fire. And it's very much a leader card, a leadership card. It is masculine energy. This is the person in charge. This is the person who controls things in a way. The primary focus of this card for me is all about boundaries. You need to set boundaries and you need to respect boundaries. The boundaries are not about holding you back. These are going to be boundaries about setting you up for success. If you can get rid of chaos that are around you or give yourself time to transform something, to look at something from a different perspective. I want to say even changing a timeline for whatever reason that's coming up. Resetting expectations and being very confident about it. Kind of almost a don't take no for an answer, but also doing it with respect. The Emperor is also somebody who sees the whole picture. So again, this is about taking that step back and looking at things, looking at the big picture view. What does this mean in the grand scheme of things? How does this fit into the grand scheme of things, of what you want out of your life? How does that wrong color thread really impact the overall design of what's happening? Take the step back so that you can see what really needs to change. What is the actual theme going on? Okay. All right. Are we done with this one? Yeah. The stop sign's really popping up. And then the word non underneath. I don't know if that's what it actually is, but that's how I'm reading it right now. So nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. Okay. It's like you keep coming back to the same thing over and over again. You keep coming back to that and you keep coming back to it. It's time to stop. It's time to stop. Let that go. Again, take a step back. How does that even fit into the grand scheme of things? Is it meaningful? Or is it only something you can see because you know it's there? You need to let that go to free yourself up. Give yourself permission to get out of the weeds, okay? And then we have the Chariot, another major arcana card. This one is about taking control. Maybe you're fretting over some tiny little detail in a report because a micromanaging manager gets so focused on it and has you second guessing everything. Don't let them do that to you. This might even be going back to this control piece too, and putting up those boundaries. You need to make the decision. You need to take the chances. This choice needs to be yours, no one else's. And it can only be yours. Are you going to include that in the big overall presentation? Or no, because it's not something that's appropriate for that. It could go into the detail report if anybody wants to dig into all of that, but it shouldn't be in the overall presentation that everybody sees, because it's a minute detail that only this one manager over in this one office in the corner cares about. But it's not what the CEO cares about. It's not what they want to focus on. They want the big picture. You need to focus on the big picture. And you need to make choices about what it is that you are creating, presenting, doing, that only you can make. And then stick to that choice. Move forward with it. Sometimes you have to say no. And that's okay. That's where that emperor energy comes in. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles are an earth element. This is going to be about work or finances or home, typically. It's a very grounding energy. It's a slower paced energy. The Seven of Pentacles in particular is about, it's time to reassess. Fits really well with this Alchemist card. How are things going? Are they going the way that you want them to go? What's going wrong? What's working? What isn't working? What do you want to change? What needs to change? Do you need to start over? Or are you good with things the way they are? Take the time to do that assessment, to take that step back and look at that big picture and do a true assessment. Do I need to keep doing this step that I do over and over again? Why am I doing that step over and over again? Is there a different thing we could do so that that step is no longer necessary and we can eliminate it? Because in the grand scheme of things, what really needs to happen is before we even start the project, we need to ask this question. And that takes care of it going forward. It could be that you're so focused on the detail in the weeds of something that you're not seeing the simple solution, the easy solution. Something else to think about. And then we have the Sun card. This is very positive. Again, it's a major arcana card, but it is a card of joy. And I want to say the word acceptance and being present and being outside and feeling that sun, getting all that good vitamin D, a sense of satisfaction and vitality. Once you've gone through this process, once you've started that transformation, you can get excited about it again. It's going to inspire you again. You're not going to dread it anymore because now you can see the big picture and how it all fits together and what you actually need to do versus what all this usual, everybody, this is how we always done it, has been. You're a Sagittarius. You're very adaptable. And you may get irritated by repetitive, monotonous things. You can come up with a new way to do it, something that's probably more efficient and makes more sense. Trust yourself here. And then you'll start enjoying it all again and being inspired by it. And then we have the Six of Swords. Now, swords are an air element. So this is about communication. It's also about knowledge and learning. Did I say the word communication? Apparently, they really want that to push through. This is about change. So there may be, in fact, because it's a 6, and before that there's a 5. So this is what I'm being pulled to. There may have been a communication snafu or miscommunication or a disagreement on how a presentation should be put together, on how information should be communicated. And I'm feeling also it's tied to the Chariot card here. So the decision you make and a change to that process, to this report, to this, whatever this is for you, you are going to stick with that. And you are making that change. And you are moving on from the argument, from the conflict, from what's not working, and going with what works for you, what makes sense to you. There's a sense of freedom in it, of not worrying about the past or what the disagreement might have been in the past. You're beyond that now. And you're taking steps to do what feels right for you, what you think is right, and to communicate differently than you have in the past. So you may be shaking things up, is the bottom line here, and forcing change as we go. All right, let's see what we have on the bottom of the deck. The Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups, this is about your emotions and your intuition, but primarily emotions. And there is this sense of boredom of, are we going to do the same thing again? I'm so tired of doing things this way. I don't want to do this anymore. Kind of that energy that I'm feeling for you here. Like, not again. Why can't things be different? They can be, but you're the one who has to make the change. You're the one who has to take those steps. You're the one who has to look for those opportunities to take that step back and look at the bigger picture. You're the one who is the alchemist in this situation, the arbiter of change. It's time to tear down the old ways and create something new. And that's something you can do. And that's what I have for you, Sagittarius, for the month of June. Please hit that like button and please hit subscribe to help me grow my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.